Hey guys. Well, I had some help. I had someone come over that knew what they were doing. It was actually a machinist. Yeah, long pauses. Here you go. You know what's coming. It was recommended that it's not worth fixing the block because the block has a few issues, shall we say. To fix the block, it would cost me as much as a rotating assembly would. That's $2K. That being said, I'm not going to sink $5,000 into a motor that's been ground out to the max. I'm going to sink, I'm going to sink money into a motor that I do it on my terms. I just don't know what to say. I'm brokenhearted. I'm probably going to get a little bit of hate mail on this, but I'm going to have to put it back the way it is. I've got some new parts coming for it, but I was told the piston's not going to have a long life because of the scarring. I was told the rims were really good because they're chrome moly and it didn't hurt them. We got a couple cracks somewhere where water should be coming in the cylinders, or at least in the block. Well, it's not because I don't have any pressure. I don't run any pressure in my water system. I run it at zero pressure. I've got a zero pressure cap. And I have a tank on it. That way when it expands, it can flow over the tank and then flow back. And there's still no pressure in the system because I run a waterless coolant. I run the Evans high performance coolant since I put this motor in the car 4 years ago. I've never puked a drop of water or a drop of coolant. Never boiled. Never got hot over about 210, 215. That was on a seriously hot day. 100 plus day. Probably, I think it was about 105 plus day. And I say boils at 350 with no pressure. You guys need to look it up. If you got flatheads, you need to look up that Evans coolant because, I mean, it's a little bit pricey, but you never have to replace it. It lasts the life of your motor. You can transfer it from one motor to another motor. It loses a little bit of its translucence in the color. It does turn a little bit dark, but you saw how clean those heads were when I took them off. Anyway, I've got new bearings coming forward. It was my fault on the bearings. I put the wrong bearings in it. Yeah. I put P-Series. I'm putting P-Series back in it. That's what was in it. That's a tri-metal design. And it's got a higher PSI rating than what I had in there. I had the aluminum bimetal, the aluminum backed one in there. Has a smaller oil hole. Yeah. And since my rods are drilled so they spray up inside the cylinders, I need all the oil up there I can get. I don't need that small hole. I don't know. It might not be significant, but it's only about 75% the size of the ones in the bearings I took out originally. So, I'm beside myself. I'm just going to see if I can get it running and baby it. I've got a low pressure oil warning system coming, bearings, starter, a few other goodies, and we're going to get it running. External full flow oil, 2 filters. I need to keep the oil clean if I want it to last any time at all until I get my other motor built. And you'll see me build the other motor. So what I got here is a depth micrometer, and I put it on my surface plate and clamped it on there with my machinist clamp. So it's relatively close. I mean, my surface plate's right on. So I had to do this because the opening for the power slot is wider than my depth micrometer base. And I have another depth micrometer, but it's a little bigger, but it's still not going to fit. And I like the digital mechanical because I can actually see it without having to, you give me a hard time. I know, I'm disappointed. I'm really disappointed. Anyway, let's come over here and look at this and see what damage we can do again. I took my Dremel and I cleaned all the carbon off of this area here. You can see these are kind of a little ripply. You can tell they were done freehand. They were done way back in the day, freehand. I mean, it's not even, it's not perfect, but it's art. I'm sorry. Anyway, I'll stop rambling. So, we're going to check with this, and I'll put it on here and run it down. I know, I'm fumbling with it. Check the center of it and see where it goes. You see that? That is my power slot. Yeah. Let's back it off a bit and run it over here on this side. Yeah. Now you see what I mean about this thing being ground down as far as anybody could really do. I mean, so it's between, it depends where I measured. I mean, I notice this has a little bit of a depression right here before the intake valve, right here, the way they ground it, and it, and yeah, I could just see it. It's a little higher in the center, and then it's lower in front of the exhaust and lower in front of the intake. Well, this one's got the valve up, but I think I can. That's number 2. Here's number 3. So I've got about 170 thousandths power slot. Holy cow. This one I put straight across because the valves are both closed here. And 181 in front of the intake valve. .147 in between the valves, and then where it drops back down here, .180 on the exhaust side. Really? 3 5/16. It's 125 over, 4-inch stroke. It's got 1 3/4 intake valves. You know, I just can't get over that. The damn thing quit recording again. I don't know when. But anyway, the cylinder's been welded up. You can see it right there. That nice big silver spot, and it goes down inside the cylinder. Well, I don't know when the camera shut off, so I'll go over this again. Okay, tap this in, Ron. I mean, here it was okay, but it's got cracks coming across here, going into here, right there, going into here. That's been fixed, and this one's been relined. This crack was going up here to the exhaust. It's been pinned and fixed. And there's another one on the intake that's been pinned and fixed. There's another one on the intake that's been pinned and fixed. I mean, it's not a super great block, but it is what it is, I guess. I hate that saying. I'm just going to do what I can on it. I don't know. I know I'm just rambling. So anyway, when I get my shipment of parts, I'll let you guys know, and in between then I'm going to go ahead and map some of this out, and when I find something unusual, which I know I will, I'll let you know. Oh boy. You know, I'm not trying to backstep. I know I said I was going to do whatever, but I just hate to sink that much into it and have it last 6 months or less. But so that's why I'm just kind of doing the minimum. Well, I'll check all the tolerances when I put it in, so I know what I'm looking at. I know the main bearings are really nice. They have a really nice fit in there. They're not scratched, not worn. I could have actually put the old set of P-series rod bearings in it. It wasn't that bad, and the only reason I'm not, you guys might think I'm a spitball guy, but I kind of am, but what was I just saying now? The only reason I'm not, and the only reason I'm not putting those back in there is I don't know which half went to which half. If I would have kept them and numbered them, I'd probably fly them back in there. So I'd just be into with a gasket set and I'd be on my way, except for my oil system. But I'm sure that a lot of people have done a lot worse. Honestly, I haven't. I've never put one together like this. This is just doesn't sit well with me. But I like to reuse what I can. This is just a hobby. I'm not going to drag race it. I know I'm rambling. I'm just disappointed. Actually, the pistons don't seem that bad. I don't know if you can see it. The pistons really don't seem that bad. It's just like where it took the shine off of it. I mean, there's a couple small striations in it, but just like these here, these little scratches here, but there's no scratches in the cylinder. So, I don't know. 150 on this one, in between them. So, on the exhaust valve, it's dished, it comes up in the center, and then it goes back down for the intake valve. I've never seen a power slot like that. That's pretty severe. I'm not going to check that one there because the valve's open. Where do they have that one? Oh, no wonder. It's still touching the other thing here. Okay, hold on. 140. And what was this one? 160. Really? Oh, I've got some carbon. Oh, this one I didn't take the carbon off of. This side I didn't do it, I just did it on the other side. Well, anyway, so let's go ahead and pop an intake valve out of it so you guys can see down here, see what I'm talking about on the runners. Okay, here we go. I told you it hadn't been together long. You can see the spring configuration on that. The way that they have this set in here to raise the pressure. The spring pressure. So, let me get a light and bring it over here and you could probably see it better this way. Yeah. That's a pretty severe bowl job. Runners, everything. So there we go, now I'm on inches. The openings for the runners $136.5. No, I'm sorry, $336.5. That's where I'm at. I'll go ahead and get all the rest of the valves out of here. Yeah, so all the intakes should be relatively easy to get out, but I've got 8 more guides coming just in case the exhaust gives me a hard time. Well, that's the long and the short of it. I'm one of the few times in my life I'm lost for words. I really dislike putting it together this way. I've never ever in my life have I ever put an engine together with parts that look like that. I just thought I'd give you guys an update. For as much money as I think I'm going to have to sink into a motor, I think I'm going to have to get a different block. A friend of mine's got something that's not a Flathead though. It's a big motor. But I still want to build a Flathead. I'll do this FE motor maybe. And after that, I'll concentrate on a Flathead. Yeah. I've got to look for a block that I like. I'd like to get an L block, but everybody wants them. I don't want to go 8BA, I want to stay with this style. I got rid of a whole backyard full of 8BA motors. That's what I had in this one before. Well, the first 2 Flatheads were 8BAs. I'm sorry I give you so much dead air time on this and I'm just staring at this thing. It's... let me know what you think. I got to stop this somewhere. Okay? I'm going to pull out the valve train and do a few other things and I'll be back with you and give you another update. Okay? Tell me what you think. I don't think too much of it, but it's going to run. I'm not worried about that. Just how long is it going to last? That's all for right now. Flathead Ron's Garage. Yeah, I'm really disappointed. Number 1 in myself. Anyway, that's all for right now at Flathead Ron's Garage. Come back next time if you'd like to see some more. If you give me a thumbs down, I'd understand. I'm not going to get hurt by it. Join me next time. Thank you for stopping by. Be safe in the shop. Bye, guys.
We forgot about our...
Be sure to come back if you see one of... I'm just watching this puddle of water travel across the floor now.